Welcome to the Legislator of the Week, a program that is allowing members of the National Assembly to express themselves and shed more light on issues relating to bills, motions, and their political struggles. My name is Abdullahi Aminu. My today's guest is a university lecturer, an educationist who was declared winner of the Senate election after an election tribunal, which was followed by an appeal court declaration. I'm talking about nobody than the senator representing Taraba Central Senatorial District, Senator Yusuf Yusuf. Distinguished, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Distinguished, I would like to start by hearing about your history, but in brief.
Well, thank you very much. I would say it in brief. I was born 66 years ago, in a village called Ngroje on the Mambila Plateau. I had my primary school in Ngroje, and then went to Kashaka. Serti had my own senior primary school. From there I went to Ganya Government Secondary School. From there I went to NECAS, Northeast College of Arts and Science, Maiduguri. And from there I proceeded to Ahmadu Bello University, where I had my first degree in economics. And went to Imo State for my NYSC, and then I started work at Gongola State Government just for some few months before I went to University of Maiduguri as a graduate assistant. And after 1 year, I went to UK, University of East Anglia for my master's degree in economics. Came back, and then went to Icon Merchant Bank, where I was employed. And there I've been a banker, investment banking, for a period of about 12 years. And until the bank was liquidated in 1996, and I took a plunge. By taking a plunge, I mean, I formed my own, we formed our own company that is called Precision Inspection Services. And there we did that, for a period of about three years before, I also venture into my own private practice or private company called Subran Investments Limited, where we did, financial advisory services, investment advisory services, and what have you, until about 2012, where I ventured into politics. And 2014, I registered as a member of APC. Which is the only party I've ever known. And by the grace of God, I went to election 2015, won my election at the court, because they declared my opponent a PDP senator, and I went to court and got it back. And on the 26th of November 2015, I got sworn in as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Distinguished sir, going by your profile as a lecturer of economics in a reputable university like UNIMAID, University of Maiduguri, people will be surprised. What has really pushed you into politics?
Well, thank you very much. Politics is one of the areas that are very, very dynamic, because man is a political animal and politics is pervasive. So, after venturing into lecturing, into banking, into consultancy world, I felt that probably, I should add, something, to value that I have for the people of Taraba. So that is why I ventured into it.
In 2015, distinguished senator, the PDP candidate Bashir was previously been declared winner of the Taraba Central Senatorial District election, but later replaced by you, Senator Yusuf Yusuf, after the court judgment. How do you find yourself when you hear about the first declaration and when you found your court victory?
And he's actually, a younger brother because we are just in the same community, in Groje. So, I tell you this, when we started our campaign, word to word, I called the elders of Groje, I told them, I said, look, God is going to test you today, or this time. You'll have two of your children, one senior, one junior, in different political parties who are going to contest for the same seat. So, but as much as each one of you will have a different, view, or different, support. But one thing that I will assure them is that if I win, I will carry my younger brother. And if he wins, I assume he will also carry me. However, I will not tolerate a situation whereby there will be electoral malpractice or voting malpractice or, faulty declaration of result. And by the grace of God, when we came to Bali, while we were going in, I knew there were some fraudulent, activities here and there. But you know what I said? I told him, I was going in, I said, look, Marafa, you are looking for my trouble, but you will get it. So we went in and I knew that, by then, I didn't know where they have actually made the infractions, but I knew that they are not going to declare me. So, and they declared him after, we made some protests because there was a ward called Kaigama ward. What was cancelled was just a polling unit, but they say it's the whole ward that was cancelled. And at that ward, I had a very, very convincing, victory. So by removing that, certainly, they look at it that I will have, a lower vote. Also, there's a word called Takalafia, where they swapped the votes of SDP and gave it to PDP, and that of, PDP, they gave it to SDP. And in Takalafia, or SDP win convincingly. So by doing these two collation errors, as we call it, Marafa Bashirapa was declared winner. And I went to court.
But distinguished Senator, do you know that there were some allegations that you have won because you are a learned person?
Well, in politics, anything can happen. It is a very, very sentimental, thing in terms of behavior of people, in terms of voting and what have you. Some people say, oh, we won not because of anything, because of Guguar Muhammadu Buhari, as they call it. So, but when we came 2019, we also asked the same question. Is this the same Guguar of Muhammadu Buhari that we won again? However, well, in politics, people, 100 people will vote for you, 100 people will not vote for you, but these are elements that we are talking about. Anything can happen in politics, but I think, I think they appreciated me, probably because of my education, probably because of my humility, probably because of, many other things.
You are the chairman, Senate Committee on Special Duties from 2019 to date. What were you able to achieve so far as the chairman of that committee?
Well, you see, once one is elected, he is going to do three things as a parliamentarian. One is going to do laws for the federation, and two, you will do a constituency outreach, and the third one, that is, you are going to do oversighting. So in the oversighting, that's where the committees come to oversight, the various, parastatals and the ministerial or agencies, MDS, that are under particular. So the agencies, the MDS of humanitarian, social disaster management and social development, and Minister of Special Duties, and the agencies under them, came under three committees. One is special duties, one is poverty alleviation, one is SDG. So it is the special duties arm that I handle, which is the ministry, and there's some few MDS. So we did a lot because first of all, I was given to oversight a new agency altogether called Northeast Development Commission, and also NEMA, and also the ministry itself. These are new institutions that came into being. So by their own mandates, we have been able to make to make sure that they have performed their mandate credibly. Everybody knows about what the Minister of Humanitarian has done in this country. We know the Empower, we know the school feeding program, we know the JIP, we know and the rest of them. And for the first time, what we call National Social Investment Program of President Muhammad Buhari has been successfully executed as promised by Mr. President himself. So in the Northeast, when the commission was established, it came as a result of the infractions of this Boko Haram thing that has happened, to Borno, to Yobe, and principally, Adamawa. So, and gradually, the palliatives, the developmental program of the Northeast in terms of, reviving the education, reviving the infrastructure, reviving, all these issues. So I think by and large, within the limited time period of the 4 years of the Northeast Development Commission, we have achieved a lot. Also in the area of palliatives, the IDPs. We have, taken care of the IDPs, effectively within the means of the resources that we have, even together with our developmental partner. We have done a lot, and by the grace of God today, development has been restored in Borno, development has been restored in Yobe, even in Adamawa.
Distinguished Senator, there is an issue that I would like you to clarify, but later in the program. Before then, distinguished, you are also the Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Cooperation and Integration in Africa, and NEPAD Committee. In what way, being the Vice Chairman of this committee, added value to the constituency of your representation?
Well, you see, when you have your own constituency, like I said, the first and most important thing is that you protect the integrity of your constituency. That is what is fundamental. And then what do you do in terms of protecting? You do probably, bills, you do some motions, like when I did motions on Mambila hydroelectricity, when I did motions on the Mambila roads, when I did motion on the providing electricity for or joining the national grid, also did some laws. One of them is the establishment of Mutumbiu Federal College of Education, Mutumbiu. It is returned to Mr. President for the 4th time now, for Mr. President, to endorse. And then there are others, which, we have done. So in terms of constituency outreach, what we do, any little thing that we can, we discuss with other MDS to make sure that, what is due to the constituency is done for the constituency.
Distinguished, the question that I said I would like to ask for clarification is that on June 18th, 2022, there was a report that the Taraba State Concerned Citizens Forum have expressed dismay on what they have allegedly called the way you continued to frustrate the efforts of the federal government and that of the Northeast Development Commission's actions in the Northeast. What is your clarification on this?
Well, I don't know if they say I'm frustrating federal government or I'm frustrating Northeast Development Commission. It is surprising to me. Maybe they do not know what they want to say. In politics, anything can happen, anything can be said, but, I'm even surprised. How will I frustrate federal government doing their own, duties? Am I the number one citizen of Taraba State how do I frustrate that? You know, does that mean that I have security? Do you know that if whatever Northeast Development Commission, you know, had been approved, had been asked to do, we have done it credibly, and you can corroborate that with the state government of Taraba State. You can ask, you know, His Excellency, you know, Governor Dixon Darius. You know, he will tell you that we have done this thing. Every relief material that is due, you know, for Taraba State, you know, we have done it. We have done it together with the Taraba State government. You know, even, you know, projects. Now there are so many projects, you know, that are going on in Taraba State. There are road projects, there are bridges, you know, there are boreholes, there are school renovations. There are so many. In fact, much more are even coming on board, because we have just finished what we call, you know, the Buhari Master Plan. And that's what we were waiting for. You know, there's resources to implement Buhari Master Plan. It has just been concluded now. So they will see, although my time is just, you know, some maybe 60 days to come would have been off. So, but I'm sure, you know, my successor who is coming is going to work credibly well, you know, to make sure that what is in the Buhari plan for Taraba State, you know, government, and I mean for Taraba State and also for Taraba Central will be done, you know, effectively and efficiently.
Senator Yusuf, knowing you to be a very sensitive person, I can remember the time that you were questioning the Senate itself on filing foreign debt, while Senator Benga Ashapa said the loan was meant to be distributed across the state's geopolitical zones. Why did you choose to question Senate at that moment?
Well, you see, when government is borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, you know, there's a limit to which, you know, the government can borrow. And also, you must ask certain questions. If you are borrowing this money, how are you going to distribute the proceeds, you know, of the borrowing all over the country? So as a legislator, I'm very, very sensitive, yes, to my constituency. So that's why, you know, I wanted to find out really what is it that is going to Taraba State, what is it that is going to, you know, Taraba Central. You know, so these are some of the issues that, you know, we discuss a lot, you know, in the Senate as to what belongs to where and how it's going to be distributed. So every senator, I think, you know, that worth the salt of being, you know, a legislator, you know, will be sensitive to what is happening in his constituency.
There was also another issue by you, distinguished senator, on the National Assembly to enact laws that will block leakages and other irregularities in the non-oil sector, in the country's non-oil sector. What did you observe to make that call?
Well, I think I remember when I said when our bank was liquidated, I told you we formed a company called Global Inspection Services, and it was purely, you know, they've developed to see how Nigeria will get value for its crude oil, value for its gas, value for non-oil, you know, exports. And I worked there, you know, as a pre-shipment inspector for about a period of 3 years, and I have seen a lot, you know, how, you know, our crude oil or how Nigeria is not getting, you know, proper value, you know, for its own exports of crude oil and gas. So by the grace of God, when I came to the Senate, you know, I said, well, let me review it so that we do an investigation, you know, from the day we started the pre-shipment, you know, up till 2016. And we have found something a lot more revealing. You know, there is a section of the Act which says, you know, I think maybe Article 11, I cannot remember exactly, where I said that, you know, all export proceeds will have to be repatriated back to Nigeria into a domiciliary account, you know, established by exporter. So that has not been done, especially, you know, the multinational oil companies. They refuse to do that. And to an extent, you know, the non-oil companies are doing it. But by then we have done that, you know, in the 8th Assembly, we have tried, We have found out, but we have not succeeded in completing the assignment. Even in the 9th Assembly, the assignment continued. But you know, when you are fighting the big shots, you know, you are going to have, you know, a lot of challenges. You know, this one is a fight, you know, against what custom is doing, against what DPR was doing, against what, you know, multinational oil companies are doing, against what NNPC is doing, against what, you know, our banks are doing. So it's a very, very big project that, you know, it will require time, it will require perseverance and what have you. So we have found out Nigeria hardly gets more than 67% of the value of its exports. Now, if you discount today our exchange rate by 40%, we are talking about 460. Now that we are taking, if you discount it by 40%, would have been talking about, you know, 200 and something naira to $1. So we established that law when I was working, you know, with the global preliminary inspection of export. We created that law purely to protect the value of our currency. But you know, it is not an easy thing to do because you have so many forces working against you. So, but we are still on it. I will continue to be available, you know, to discuss with people who wants to share this opinion with me so that we can get, you know, the fair value of our currency.
On the 31st March 2023, during a press conference at NAS, you said, I quote, INEC is not doing what is supposed to be done. Some of us are not happy about it. Yeah. Can you clarify this?
Well, you see, even recently, you know, some even legal luminaries have been accusing INEC. INEC has a law that has established it. In that law, there are sections that say, INEC, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. But what INEC does is that they will veer out of their own mandate and say, well, go to court, let court go and solve the problem. That's why I'm not pleased up till now. I don't think, you know, INEC is doing what they are supposed to do. You know, I think INEC needs to sit up. We should have people who will work, you know, for the benefit of this country and not people who will sit on the fence. You know, if the law says INEC should be very, very independent in terms of their own operations, then they should not even, you know, have gone to court or to defend anything. They should not go to court to defend. But if they are going to go to the court to defend what they have done, then they are not, you know, independent, you know. So that is why I see my observation, what has happened in Taraba, you know, it is a sham. You know, the local government electoral officers, you know, did not do what is right. You know, they did what was wrong. They didn't do what they are supposed to do under the 2022, you know, Electoral Act. So also, you know, some of the monitors. So I don't think, you know, they have done or they have lived up to the expectation. So that's the point I'm making.
Still on that press conference at NAS, you suggested that the incoming 10th National Assembly may have to look at the 2022 Electoral Act with the aim of amending it. What kind of amendment are you talking about just 1 year after the recent amendment?
In fact, so many amendments. You know, for instance, let's even talk about the beavers. What is the position of the beavers today? The beaver is just to accredit. Unlike what we were told that, you know, beavers will go beyond accreditation, you know, beavers, you know, you will use beavers, you know, that is just to upload, beavers to do this, beavers to do that, beavers to do that, IRIF to do that. So, you know, the Electoral Act, even now as we go, in fact, the process of amending the Electoral should even start now when things are very, very, very fresh in our minds. How INEC, you know, manages the political party, you know, there's a lot more room to be desired. We are aware there are so many accusations against the leadership of the political parties of fraudulent activities here and there, So why wouldn't, INEC, being, an overseer of these political parties, to do? They have the powers to investigate, to make sure that these political parties, the leadership of the political parties run these political parties with a lot of, decorum and with a lot of integrity. So these are the issues. And I think, so many sections, the popular section 84, of the Electoral Act, is also very clear. So many areas, would have to be amended, not just that. So,
Distinguished Senator, this actually reminds me of 2019 as at a press briefing, where you mentioned that the phenomenon of Buharism and Buhariya is not a person, but an ideology. Are you still behind that ideology?
Yes, I am. I am. Buhariya, I'm still working on it, and Buhariya is actually an ideology. It's not Muhammadu Buhari, or President Muhammadu Buhari. You see, President Muhammadu Buhari is a bundle of philosophy in him, that actually nobody, as of today, will tell you that, President Muhammadu Buhari has acted in terms of imputing on his integrity. So now the Buhariya philosophy, is a philosophy of integrity, philosophy of bringing people to the reality of the ground. People should persevere. People should be loyal. People should be humble, so that we will have a society, an egalitarian society, that humanity will be the measure of our relationship. The philosophy relates to the philosophy that when I was born into this world, I did not know into whose hands I'm coming to. Whether it's a Christian, whether it's a Muslim, whether it's a pagan, I didn't know. And likewise, when I die, I don't know who carries me to the grave. So it is the humanity that matters. It is not all these, issues that we come about. This one is stronger than this. You trample on this. You abuse the powers given to you. You do this. No. So the Buhariya is a bundle of humanitarian, or humanity, or human philosophy that imbibe, the culture or the tradition or the custom to make a human being a human being.
From my end as a presenter, Abdullahi Aminu, I'm saying bye for now.